One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the One's Ready podcast. This is your daily drop for the 2nd of May. If you're new here, this is the news from the Department of the Air Force that Public Affairs curates and puts out. It's a massive document, so I basically break it down through AI to give you the highlights and the talking points that each commander and chief receive every morning. So that's what this is, and if I have any insights, I will dive into it. If you guys, just a reminder, 21 and 22 June, we still have slots available for the Operator Training Summit in La Jolla, California, right outside of San Diego. Mentorship, instructorship, working on your efficiency in underwaters. We have 12 hours straight of pool work that we're going to knock out on Sunday with a little surprise at the end. And then Saturday is going to be all your calisthenics, rucking, attributes, running. We've got Taylor Starch. We've got an PJ. We've got Aaron, who's also a PJ or was a PJ. We've got Trent, and then we've got me, who nobody really cares about because I'm just there for the good looks, really. So if you're interested in it, hit me up at jared@onesready.com or leave us a comment and we'll get you entered into the chat and then you can secure your spot that way. All right, starting off with the joint news. Second military zone along southern border. The Defense Department is establishing a second military zone along the U.S.-Mexico border under Fort Bliss, Texas, to enhance operational reach and deter illegal activity. Approximately 8,000 service members, along with surveillance aircraft and Navy warships, are deployed to support Joint Task Force Southern Border, where troops can maintain or detain migrants for trespassing with... Man, I am having struggle bus today. Migrants for trespassing until Customs and Border Patrol takes over. Jeez. Next, military sexual assault investigation standards are unchanged. The U.S. military will maintain its existing standards for investigating sexual assault and harassment reports, ensuring all complaints are thoroughly reviewed and analyzed. Defense Secretary directive to dismiss unsubstantiated reports promptly will not alter the handling of these cases, according to the Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Office. Man, that whole thing is terrible. Any kind of stuff like that actually happens. The unfortunate part about it as well, on the flip side of that, is how many false reporting gets sent up and executed on, and you have an innocent person that ends up with, potentially a career ending or a career stalling point. But also, I mean, it could wreck somebody's life if somebody makes a false accusation and that person is married and has a family, or they're up for promotion or whatever. Like, it can wreck somebody. So, yeah. All right, next, sexual assault reports decline. However, harassment rises. Military sexual assault reports dropped by 4% in FY23 to FY24, marking 2 consecutive years of decline, while sexual harassment complaints rose 1%. The Sexual Assault Prevention and Response Office views preventing these crimes as critical to military readiness though actual incidents likely exceed reported cases. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an issue with readiness because it takes that member, it takes the victim, it takes the investigating officers, it takes the commander, they've got to focus on that instead of actual training and doing the mission. So it absolutely impacts military readiness. Next, U.S.-Iran nuclear talks postponed while tensions rise. The U.S. has canceled planned nuclear talks with Iran, citing logistical issues, while Defense Secretary warned Iran of consequences for supporting Houthi rebels. President Trump has reiterated that the U.S. will prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, escalating tensions amid the postponed negotiations. It's just like in anything, man. When two people aren't talking or two groups of people aren't talking, usually it ends up being bad. You want people to be talking because that means they're not fighting. Next, NORAD plans Trump's Golden Dome missile shield. NORAD is actively planning President Trump's Golden Dome missile defense initiative, which will feature layered defenses against ICBMs, cruise missiles, and drones. The system will prioritize resilient, interconnected nodes tailored to specific threats, as outlined by NORAD Commander General Gregory Goulet. It's probably not Goulet, it's Gillett. Air Force news. The Air Force beginning CCA, or Collaborative Combat Aircraft, ground testing. The Air Force has started ground testing for the YFQ-42 Alpha and the YFQ-44 Alpha Collaborative Combat Aircraft at Beale Air Force Base, a critical step towards their first flight. These tests reduce integration risks and build confidence for eventual deployment to a global CCA aircraft readiness unit, with a prototype decision planned in FY26. Hell yeah. Get those things off the ground. Pacific exercises expand with congressional funding. Congress has allocated $620 million to expand the Resolute Force Pacific exercise, involving up to 300 aircraft across 25 Indo-Pacific locations to prepare for near-peer conflicts. The funding also includes $20 million for exercises with Taiwan and $850 million to strengthen Taiwan's military against China aggression. Man, I'd love to get some of that money so that we could train as well, or at least maybe get involved in that. That's actually something I may have to look into. Second F-16 Super Squadron in South Korea. The 7th Air Force is forming a second F-16 Super Squadron at Osan Air Force Base, or Osan Air Base, South Korea, by relocating 1,000 airmen and aircraft from Kusan Air Force Base, or Kusan Air Base. Sorry, I keep saying Air Force. It's out of habit. This move enhances combat readiness and maximizes the use of available resources to meet U.S. national security objectives in the region. Next, new software acquisition rules sparked by F-35. The F-35 program's challenges prompted new software acquisition rules, shifting the Defense Department's focus to prioritize software development over hardware. These reforms created a special software development category to address funding complexities, enabling more agile acquisition processes. Yes, quicker, less bureaucratic tape. We need to fix the acquisition process. It is way too convoluted and way too complicated and takes way too long, especially when we start talking about software, not hardware, but software, because software changes constantly. Next, the Air Force nominee defends past remarks. Matt Lomer, Trump's nominee for the Air Force Undersecretary, defended his prior criticisms of the military politicization. Man, it's Friday and I can't talk. Politicization, still messed it up, during Senate testimony, emphasizing his commitment to nonpartisanship. He stressed the importance of a well-funded Air Force to support national security, despite his controversial past claims about Marxism in the military. You see, this is the funny part about it, is that Matt Lomer, who's a nominee for Undersecretary, was critical of Air Force and military leadership, right? Or the culture in the military. I was, and now retired, Air Force for 25 years. And I was critical and still am critical of it. Just like I wanted people to be critical of me as well. Like, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing to be critical of something. You know, it's wild that this dude's getting a bunch of crap for it, for doing exactly what he's supposed to. And there was Marxism stuff in the military. There absolutely was. And there was political stuff and DEI stuff. Like, there was a whole bunch of BS in the military. So yeah. Next, F-35 Alpha Test Unit activated at Eglin Air Force Base. The Air Force has activated a new F-35A test unit at Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, to address the increasingly complex 21st century threat environment. The base's strategic location alongside existing test and fighter wings make it an ideal site for advancing F-35 capabilities. Yeah, of course. B-1B, or the Bone, incident prompts Japanese safety demands. A B-1B Lancer emergency landing at Misawa Air Base, Japan, closed a shared runway for 90 minutes, prompting Japanese officials to demand enhanced safety measures from the U.S. Air Force. Local leaders issued the formal request to prevent future disruptions to commercial flights and ensure safer operations. Yeah, 90 minutes is a long amount of time, believe it or not, for a busy airfield, especially when you're sharing it with commercial airlines. That's a long delay. The Air Force aids Guam's stray dog control. The 36th Wing at Anderson Air Force Base, Guam, will assist local authorities in controlling the island's stray dog population, providing vehicles, equipment, and personnel. This partnership aims to address the estimated 25,000 stray dogs, which pose a health and safety risk while strengthening community ties. Dude, that place is not that big, and they've got 25,000 stray dogs? Yeah, I'd say that's an issue. Next, piano burning honors fallen pilot. Air Force pilots at Joint Base Langley, Utis, burned a piano to honor aerobatic pilot Rob Holland, who died in a crash, reflecting a tradition possibly rooted in Royal Air Force history. The ceremony underscored Holland's admired status within the military aviation community and expressed condolences for his loss. Actually, last Friday, we had a piano burn here at Nellis Air Force Base to honor Evil, who was he actually, I think he was an ace. I'm 99% sure he was an ace, but he was one of the original folks that kind of developed air-to-air tactics, and he was a badass. So, next, Space Force news. Space Force to form Special Operations Element. The Space Force is establishing a Special Operations Element at MacDill Air Force Base to support U.S. Special Operations Command, delivering specialized space capabilities. While no timeline is set for a full Space Force component to SOCOM, this move enhances integration with theater Special Operations Commands. Yes, let's start, we should be jumping out of rockets, and we need to be, have little pods that we go up into space, and then we can come down in. Yes, more special operations in space. Completely agree. Let me get back in. Next, Space Force awards $237 million space contract or satellite contract. The Space Force selected 12 companies for a $237 million 10-year contract to develop small satellites under the Space Test Experiments Platform 2.0. This initiative streamlines the launch of new space technologies by integrating multiple experiments into a single spacecraft, bolstering DoD capabilities. And then finally, of interest, 1958 crisis offers lessons for Taiwan deterrence. The 1958 Taiwan Strait crisis provides a model for deterring China from evading Taiwan by combining credible threats with assurances to de-escalate tensions, a U.S. strategy offering China and off-ramp, as seen as the Newport Statement, could reduce current escalations in the South China Sea. I doubt it. It'll keep escalating, and hopefully it fizzles out, but I don't see it happening anytime soon. Anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and then join us over at the Operator Training Summit in June. Light up.